Hey YouTube, Motor Racing Network, Steve Post, another great diecast review show. We are so glad you joined us. This show brought to you by PlanBSales.com. Looking back at the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race, what a wild one. A lot of confusion, a lot of excitement, and when it was done, Joey Logano scored his career first All-Star win. It was a Penske 1-2 as his teammate Brad Keselowski followed him across the line. Dale Earnhardt Jr. finished third, Carl Edwards finished fourth, and Kurt Busch rounded out the top five. And so we have it. Another Sprint All-Star race is in the books, and that sets everyone here in the Charlotte area up for the big Coca-Cola 600. More on that, more on what we're doing here at Plan B Sales as well. It's all coming up here on the Diecast Review Show. One of the things we've had so much fun here at Plan B Sales is our involvement with Kyle Larson. We sponsor his Plan B Sales sprint car that he runs during the off-season, and he's given us some wins with that out in Yuma, Arizona, and we love when Kyle shows up here at the warehouse. And we have some great autographed Kyle Larson diecast, and that's what we're talking about because Kyle Larson has been arguably one of the hottest drivers here in the last few weeks in NASCAR. Nearly won the Sprint All-Star race, nearly won at Dover. It's not long. In fact, maybe even in the Coca-Cola 600 when Kyle Larson, our guy, our Plan B Sales guy, rolls into victory lane for that career first NASCAR Sprint Cup Series win. So when we look at the Kyle Larson diecast we have a lot of his diecast in stock. Here's the Energizer Bunny car from back in 2014. So we have that car, and here is the Kyle Larson Target Clorox autographed diecast car as well, autographed right there on the hood by Kyle Larson. One of the things we like to talk about with diecast that is autographed, make sure it has a certificate of authenticity, whether that comes from Action, Lionel, Plan B Sales, somebody to let you know that that driver touched that windshield with the pen. There's a lot of fakes and phonies out there. We want to make sure that everything we do here is by the book and everything we have has a certificate of authenticity. We look at Kyle's Sunoco Rookie of the Year. This is the Rookie of the Year car across the top there commemorating that. This is the autographed version of that car. So we have that in stock. We have 2015 diecast also here with the Target Chevrolet, and then here's the Target Chevrolet with the dog on the front of it. The Clorox Coca-Cola sponsored car, as well as the Axe and all of the great partners that they have at Target. So really great diecast for Kyle Larson. Get it now once he starts winning, and it will be soon the way he's running over the last few weeks. Once he starts winning, it's game on, and Kyle Larson diecast will be something you want to have in your collection. Want to also mention that we are busy here during Charlotte Week in talking about diecast. We have our warehouse sale right here at Plan B Sales going on through 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon, and this is the older diecast that we have, all of it laid out in stock. It's in the sidewalk, the warehouse, it's everywhere. We have got you covered here at Plan B Sales for our warehouse sale that we have going on during race week here in Charlotte and out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. All the latest we have out there, and we're located across Highway 29 from the Speedway between Moorhead Road and Bruton Smith Boulevard. We are located in a little area of tents there. You can find us, Plan B Sales. We are there. So if you're coming to Charlotte Motor Speedway, stop over at the warehouse for your old diecast or catch up with us out at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the little tent city area across the street from the racetrack. Now let's get to your questions, and these questions are from right down below here on the YouTube page, so type in your question. Who knows, maybe next week we'll answer yours. M. Newworth writes in and says, why do you think that Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch run consistently in the top 10 and top 15, and Tony Stewart and Danica Patrick don't? That's a great question. I mean, because we know the equipment is all the same over at Stewart-Haas. In fact, it's one of those shops that is just wide open. When you go into Stewart-Haas Racing over in Kannapolis, you'll see a Danica car sitting next to a Kevin car, sitting next to a Kurt car, sitting next to a Tony car. But it really boils down to what the drivers and the teams are doing with it. I think this is the example of what we talk about with chemistry. Rodney Childers, Kevin Harvick, great chemistry. They take that car from Stewart-Haas Racing and make it better than anybody else. Kurt Busch, the same with Tony Gibson. They have that chemistry. Danica Patrick has not found that chemistry with anybody. This year it's Billy Scott, and just struggles to get her arms around these race cars and to be able to communicate that to a crew chief. Now Tony Stewart is the interesting one because we know he is a championship caliber driver. He's won championships before, but Tony has had such a topsy-turvy last couple of years. It's been amazing, the inconsistency across the board, different crew chiefs, different folks involved. So I think they are searching for that for Tony's final season. But I really think when you look at the two teams that are performing well, it is a great driver-crew chief combination. When you look at the two teams that are struggling, Danica Patrick hasn't necessarily proven herself as a driver, but it's a new driver-crew chief combination. Tony Stewart certainly has proven himself as a driver, but a new crew chief this year for Tony, and they are trying to find that chemistry like the 4 car and the number 41 have. Next question we have is number 1, Alpha Furry Johnny. Do you think NASCAR should add a new series that includes Toyota Corollas, Chevy Malibus, Ford Focus? I got to be I've got to be honest with you. I think it's an interesting question. First off, I don't think NASCAR is adding anything. I think they're having all they can handle right now with the 3 National Touring Series, Sprint Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and the Camping World Truck Series. Now, what I find interesting about this is I really thought a few years ago we were going in this direction with the Xfinity Series. Do you remember when the Mustang was introduced by Ford, the Camaro for Chevrolet? This was back when Dodge unveiled the Challenger when they were competing in NASCAR. Toyota stayed with the Camry model, and that kind of kept their car the same between the Xfinity and the Sprint Cup Series. I would love to see a downsized car. I like your idea here. I don't think they're adding it. I thought we were going in that direction with the Xfinity Series. We're apparently not going in that direction, so we have what we have, and I don't think you're going to see any major change in it coming down the road. But boy, I love the looks of those Camaros and Mustangs out there on the racetrack now. I just wish there was a little bit more differentiation between those cars and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series cars. And all of this talk brings us to this week. It's the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 114 times drivers have raced NASCAR Cup Series races at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The first one was the 600 back in 1960, June 19th to be specific on the date, and Joe Lee Johnson won the first race. Current drivers, I know, we're not going to shock you if we tell you that Jimmy Johnson has the most wins at Charlotte Motor Speedway, 7. I find it interesting, his teammate at Hendrick Motorsports, Casey Kane, has 4 wins, and looking for Casey to have a potential big weekend this weekend out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Kevin Harvick is a 3-time winner. Matt Kenseth and Jamie McMurray, 2-time winners at Charlotte, and lone race winners at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tony Stewart, Casey Mears, Joey Logano, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Clint Boyer, and Brad Keselowski. Going to be a big one, the Memorial Day Classic out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Always a fun weekend. Now stick right in there with us. In just a moment, our question of the week. It is time for our question of the week. Last week's question was the All-Star race. What are some of your favorite All-Star memories? One of you mentioned when Jeff Gordon rolled the backup car out. Remember, that's when the field hit turn number 1 and a rainstorm hit. Now, under normal situations, that would be what you were left with, a bunch of wrecked race cars. But because it was the All-Star race, NASCAR allowed them to roll out backup cars, and indeed, Jeff Gordon rolled out a backup car, and it was spectacular. So I like all of the memories of the All-Star race. Want to talk NASCAR, but all auto racing this weekend. We're going into the Memorial Day weekend. Sunday is one of the biggest days in motorsports in the world. The Formula One Series races at Monaco on Sunday morning. The Indy cars run the Indy 500 during the afternoon, and it's the Coca-Cola 600. Our question of the week, how do you follow along with all of these, or do you follow along with all of these? So do you watch 1? Do you watch 2? Do you watch 3? Do you go to one of them? Do you watch the other 2? How do you follow along with the big 3? Or are you a couch potato and look at it as the greatest day in NASCAR when you can go from 7 o'clock to nearly midnight all day long watching great racing? So how do you consume the big 3 races on Sunday? That's what we want to know, and it's our question of the week. All the Great Diecast is available at planbsales.com. Look up your favorite driver in the search window in the upper right-hand corner, and you can find everything you need, all your diecast needs, at planbsales.com. And also check out our warehouse sale this week and our location out at Charlotte Motor Speedway all weekend long. We love that you guys are getting involved with us here on YouTube. We have the comments below. Feel free to mention your comments here. Follow us on Twitter at Plan B Sales, and we'll keep you informed on what we have. And please get some back and forth conversation going, because we love talking racing and love talking with you race fans out there, and we appreciate the business you do give us.